Welcome to the Bodhi Academy. Today we are going to solve PYQ questions from two chapters. That is, the first chapter is organisms and a population, and the second chapter is ecosystem. So let us start with the PYQ solutions. Okay, let us start with the first question. The first question is write a note on two types of population growth model. So there are two types of population growth model. That is, the first one is exponential growth model and the second one is logistic growth model. So first, let us look at the exponential growth model. So exponential growth model, this model assumes that population grows at a constant rate over time, and this can be given in a equation form. We can find this through this equation, and the equation is nt equals to n o e at the raised to rt, where nt is the population size at that time, no is initial population size, r is rate of growth, e is base of neutral logarithm, and t is time. So the second model of growth is logistic growth model, wherein it takes into account the limitation of resources and environmental carrying capacity. So this can be given in an equation, that is nt equals to k upon 1 plus k minus no ert upon no, wherein nt no ert is the same as for the exponential growth model. The only thing is k stands for carrying capacity and r stands for intrinsic rate of growth. So this is a different these are the two different growth model in the population, that is exponential growth model and the logistic growth model. So let's move to the second question. The second question is write a note on light and soil as a biotic factor affecting the distribution of organism. So here we have to state what are the important. So here in this question we have to state what is the importance of the two abiotic factors, that is light and soil, in determining the population of organism in a particular area. So first abiotic factor is light. So what are abiotic factors? Abiotic factors are the non-living factors which affect the environmental population of a area, the number of organism plants which are available in a particular area. So the first factor is light. So light is a abiotic factor that influences the growth, behavior, distribution of organism in a particular area. So the first thing under light is photosynthesis. If a area gets a high density of light, so the rate of photosynthesis in that area will be more, that is the amount of plant vegetation which we find in that area will be more because it receives more light, as it will support more dense vegetation. So if there is more light, the organism in that area will be more. The second factor is soil. So soil is also a very important abiotic factor, wherein soil properties significantly affects the distribution and the type of organism in a terrestrial ecosystem. So soil is a very important abiotic factor in the terrestrial ecosystem. So what are the components of soil which determines the population of organism and plant in that area? The components are basically soil texture, then soil composition, soil pH, then nutrient content in the soil of the particular area, and the soil moisture. So these are the factors, or these are the composition of a soil which helps in the determining how much amount of organism, microorganisms are present in that soil and how much amount of plants can be grown in that soil. So this is about the second question. So let's move to the third question. The third question is describe any two population attributes. So the population attributes, there are two types of population attributes. The first type is population density and the second one is age distribution. So first let us look at population density. So population density is the number of individuals of a species per unit area or volume in a particular area. So that we can find using the formula, that is population density D equals to number of individuals in a particular area, that is denoted by capital N, divide by area or volume, that is denoted by A. So using this formula, we can find a population density of any area or any place. So the second population attribute is age distribution. So age distribution refers to the proportion of individual of different age groups in a particular in a population. So it is different individuals with different age group in a population, that is age distribution. So these are the two population attributes, that is population density and age distribution. So let's move to the fourth question. The fourth question is, describe the behavioral response shown by the desert lizard to cope with the variation in their environment. So the desert lizard exhibits a variety of behavioral responses to cope with the extreme and fluctuating environmental condition of their habitat. So the habitat is desert, and we know that desert is a very extreme in desert there is very extreme conditions to cope with. That is high temperature, low water availability, and intense sunlight. So these are some conditions which are very harsh for the organism to survive in the desert region. So what does the desert lizard do in order to cope with this extreme condition? The first thing what the desert lizard will do is basking in the sand, then seeking shade and burrowing inside the rocks, under the rocks, inside the sand. So it seeks shade. Then water conservation. So water conservation is very important in order to cope with the low water availability in the desert area. So how the lizard does this? It will reduce activity, activity of the individual will be reduced. Then water storage. So such types of organism, they have specialized tissues inside their body which help them to reduce the wastage of water. So this is how a desert lizard can cope with the extreme desert condition in order to survive in the habitat. Let's move to the fifth question. The fifth question is, what could be the reason for the pyramid of energy to be always upright or straight? So, because the pyramid of energy, so because the energy is always unidirectional, that is, it flows in one direction only. So, because the energy flows from a particular trophic level to the next trophic level, hence it is always upright. So, it does not flow in both the direction. It is always unidirectional. So, it will be always in this direction, that is from the producer to the top carnivore. So that is why it is always upright and straight. That is the energy from the producer, that producers are basically plants, all autotrophic organisms that comes under producers. So producers, then from the producer, the energy will be transferred to the herbivores. Then after that, it will be transferred to the primary carnivore and then to the top carnivore. So it will be always in this direction and not in this direction. So that is why it is called as upright or straight pyramid. So let's solve the sixth question. The sixth question is, distinguish between Hydrarch and Xerarch succession. So Hydrarch and Xerarch succession, the difference between Hydrarch and Xerarch succession is, Hydrarch succession occurs in aquatic or waterlogged environment. So this is where it starts, in waterlogged or aquatic condition environment. Then Xerarch succession occurs in dry or arid environment. The second point, the succession start in water body and then leads to the formation of a forest. So from a water body, due to sedimentation over time and time, it will lead to formation of a forest or a terrestrial ecosystem from a water aquatic ecosystem. So this is Hydrarch succession. In Xerarch succession, it starts in a barren, dry habitat like rock surfaces, and then it will lead to a stable ecosystem. Then it begins in area with abundant water such as ponds, lake, etc. So this is the starting point of Hydrarch succession. So where the Xerarch succession begins? So it begins in areas with dry conditions such as barren rocks, dry desert, dunes, etc. So this is the difference between Hydrarch and Zearach succession. So let's move to the last question. The last question is define decomposition and steps which are involved in the process of decomposition. So, what is decomposition? Decomposition is a process by which organic matter such as dead plants, animal waste product are broken down into simpler substances. So, in decomposition, the organic matter which is there in form of dead plants, animal and waste will be broken down into simpler substances. So, these are the complex substances which are broken down into simpler substances by whom by the action of microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, which acts upon this organic matter to break down it into simpler substances. So this process of breaking down of complex substances into simpler substances by microorganism is known as decomposition. So how this process happens or occurs in the environment? So this process involves five major steps. The five major steps are: first is leaching. In leaching, what happens is all the material which is there in the organic matter, it is absorbed. Then fragmentation. In fragmentation, what happens is the complex material which is there, it is broken down into simpler material. Then decay. In decay, the microorganism play a very important role. That is, the microorganism will convert that organic waste which is there into simpler substances. Then humification. After humification is the mineralization, wherein the soluble minerals which are there, which are obtained after the formation of humus, that is after decaying from the material, the minerals which are there, they are then left in the soil, which are then taken up by the plant as nutrients which are required for the growth of the plant. So this is how the process of decomposition occurs, and these are the steps which leads to the process of decomposition, that is leaching, fragmentation, decay, humification and mineralization.